Carl, welcome to this week's edition of In the Dugout. We'll start off with a few questions from the fans. This one from Chris Scorer. Do the squad numbers relate to positions, i.e. Liam Wellen? Will he be at centre, or are they just numbers given out?
Well, originally we were just going to have 1 to 17, but Gary wants to go with the 1 to 25 and try and keep the same player in the same number regardless of where he's playing. So when we went to fit the boys out with their shirts, we numbered them 1 to 25, sized them up, and they got them shirts. They weren't necessarily going to play in those shirts. I thought it was a good idea what Gary says, to leave those players in the numbers they've got. They're not squad numbers, but when we can, the majority of the time, the players will try and play in the same number, so the fans can get to know who that player is more than anything. So you'll get Louis Sharif will probably play all season in number 22, regardless of where he's playing. I think you've seen one or two others have a certain number they like. Macca certainly likes number 32. He always play in number 32, no matter what, if you're doing 1 to 17 or not. So the answer is no. They'll play in the shirt number that they've got, and Liam Wellen will probably play. I think he was in 3. He'll probably play in 3 all year if he's playing in the back row or playing centre, just for identity purposes, really.
So the numbers 1 to 17 don't necessarily represent who will be in the first team. The next question then from Phil Scorer, talking about staff available at match days. They mentioned that some fans may miss Sam Doherty's try after half time. Is there anything we can do to try and get more staff available to keep him out?
Yeah, listen, we've spoke to Centre Plate about it, and for the estimated crowd that we thought would get, that normally services us, but I seen the queues myself on the weekend, and I think the weather had a lot to play with it. I think everyone wanted a warm drink at half time because it was really, really cold. But we've had 600, 700, 800, and we've serviced them the last 3 years in the restaurant, and we haven't had too many issues. So like I say, I'm hoping it was the weather this week against Leeds and Hull. Next week we'll have the concourse open. We've played games before when we've opened the concourses, and they probably took £10. So it's not feasible when we've done a good job up in the restaurant. We've opened the restaurant up to everybody, and if we were to go back and close that and then have the concourses open for them all to go down there, then we'd cop some flack about separate. We're not big enough yet to separate the fans coming into the restaurant. So we tried that. And we reverted back because the supporters wanted to come into the restaurant. For the crowds we get at the moment, we can give them their wishes and let them come in the restaurant. But when we get the bigger crowds, then we open the concourse.
The final question then from Michael Smith: are we planning to do another junior takeover day this season?
Yeah, it's on the agenda, 100%. It won us an award last year, so why wouldn't we? We've got there's 5 theme games we've got, and obviously this weekend's game we're doing for young Jack Cox, which we do every year, and we'll have a game for Liam Morn, and we'll certainly do the junior takeover day, the ex-players day, and we're throwing a ladies' day in there this year as well. So yeah, the junior takeover day is something we'll definitely be doing.
Moving on to on-the-field events, and a good result at the weekend against a tough Sheffield side. How do you feel that kicked us off the pre-season?
I was good. Listen, Sheffield are a decent side. I said it last week. Championship side. I thought we'd done all right, and a lot of their team who played on the weekend were full time last year. So to hang in there with them and stick with them was good. Still a heap to work on for us. Coach is going to have some headaches, when we get into it. But like we said, the team hopefully will pick itself after the friendlies. I'm pretty sure the supporters were happy. Well, obviously you're showing it because you've not got any questions about players or anything. You've got questions about the catering, which is good. Hope it stays that way, and we sort that out easy enough. But our fans certainly let us know when we're not done well, and for you not to have anything about the team is probably shows where they're happy, which I'm happy, and long may that continue.
Debut tries for Corey Hansen and Richie Barnett as well. That must have been pleasing to see.
Oh, listen, there was a few who stood out there, but yeah, pleased. Obviously, we brought Richie Barnett here to score tries, and Corey would have been buzzing to score against his old club. So no, overall, listen, we were really pleased, and there was some players in there really stood up, but we certainly need to keep our feet on the ground, and then it's only game one of a real long season.
You feel a lot of the new signings did well, gelled well?
Yeah, and I thought a lot of the boys who've been with us last year, I think a few of them have stepped up a notch as well. So, it all bodes well, and I thought it was a real good, solid performance, and you can't underestimate that Sheffield team. I thought they were right, and like I say, they are a championship club, and it was both clubs' first head out, so it's hard to tell. There was a bit of rustiness on both sides, but listen, we got the cup back to Donny, and it's a good start.
Another big test this Sunday against Super League side Leeds Rhinos. Another step up in class, if you like. Do you feel like it's starting to work its way towards the first fixture of the league season now?
Yeah, and again, I said it last week. Hopefully, it's a real tough test for us and a hard game. And I know they're playing on Friday, but what I'm led to believe that he'll play his whole squad this weekend. So I'm sure that they'll bring a decent side and some experience in there along with the youngsters. So we know it'll be a real tough game against Leeds. It was last year, and they've always been close. The fellas will be playing with probably the same ones who played against Hunslet, so there's a little bit of a benchmark we can look at there. But the players are looking forward to it. There'll be another opportunity. Don't forget, these players in the team are all trying to get a shirt for the start of the season. So, there's no slacking. They've got last week's finish. We move on to the next one, and I think we'll take that attitude right throughout the season. That just take one game at a time.
Would you like to just touch on the sponsors for this weekend's game?
Yeah, this week's ex-player for the club, George Flaster, is sponsoring the game, and thanks to him, he's been fantastic with us. He does one or two a year, and we appreciate it. And especially for an ex-player to come back and sponsor us, it's very touching, and we're very grateful for it. So thanks, George.